Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's 12 FPS. My name is Fable. I am playing, once again, I am playing Bob, the accountant of Dodo Studios and dad of Rad the Red Radio. And with me today is.
Hi, I'm Wiss, and today I'm going to be playing Chifley Ford.
Chifley Ford. Chifley Ford. Now, thinking about it, the last time Bob has seen Chifley was during the Animus game, right?
The last time properly, I feel as though given as Chifley has offloaded Missy at Bob's place for babysitting a few times, they've probably seen each other in passing. Or if maybe Ross was at the door instead or something like that, but they haven't
Yeah.
sat down and had a conversation.
Yeah, there hasn't been a chance to actually just like stop and have a conversation, which is what this FPS is for. And how we're starting out today is, in fact, it is near the end uh, of the school day, and usually at the end of school days when parents are gonna start coming to pick kids up, the kids are let loose on the playground to play in the meantime, where I imagine Rad and Missy are currently.
Mm-hmm.
And how I imagine this starting out is that Chifley is already Chifley gets there first and is probably like about to call for Missy, but then from behind him he would hear a oh Chifley.
Chifley would sort of start a little bit and then turn, and then when there's nobody at his eye height, look down.
You look down and there standing a little surprised at 3'5" is Bob, and he's looking at you, Chifley, and it takes a moment before he starts smiling. Oh, hello. I think this is the first time I've caught you at the school.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I've not really been able to stick around much.
Oh no, that's perfectly fine. And he looks over at the playground where it's very obvious to see Rad and Missy. Rad is showing Missy all the ways you can slide down a slide, which is on your butt, on your feet, on your hands. He does little cartwheels.
Chifley's just sort of watching them going, they're probably okay. I have healing spells, it'll be fine.
It's probably fine. Rad's got good acrobatics, and he's got, I want to say, high enough dex that if Missy falls, he can catch her. Probably. It's fine. It's fine. Bob has healing spells too. It's fine. People are watching them. It's fine. Uh, but Bob watches for a bit and chuckles a little bit, and before turning back to Chifley, so how have you been? I haven't really got a chance to talk to you after Animus.
It's been a very interesting couple of months, I will admit. Up and down, I suppose, is the best way to explain it, but things seem pretty alright now.
Yeah, I can under up and down. That sounds about right. Been the same on it's been the same on our end as well. But it's good that things are at least going better now. I hope so.
Yes, very, very much so. There was a period of time where I wasn't sure whether or not we'd be able to stay, but I'm glad that we have been.
Oh, you have found a place?
Mm.
Oh, good.
Marcel actually helped us find somewhere.
Bob looks proud. Yeah, that sounds like Purcell. But you're right. It's a good place. It's in a good neighborhood, I hope.
Yes, it's actually not too far from where you all live. No, I did give Sandy the address. Did I never give you our address?
Uh, well, I never got it from Sandy, so.
Well, okay. And he's just gonna reach into his pocket. Cool. And he's gonna pull out his notebook and quickly scroll his address down on a page and then rip it out and hand it to Bob.
Oh, thank you. And you have our address as well, right? You've dropped off
Yeah.
Missy a couple times.
Yes, and been inside a few times.
Oh yeah, sorry. I've been, I've been a bit busy myself, so I've actually I think I've. And you can roll insight on that.
That is something that Chifley is very good at.
23. Yeah, Bob is kind of like, as he says, like he's been busy himself. Like he's not kidding. He has been, he's been busy. Especially if with the 23, Chifley, you remember Bob took the back during Animus, he had taken the pink jar thing that those Johto's tunes tried making you steal, or tried making Missy steal using Sandy. Yeah, Bob's been
that whole hot mess.
yeah. Among other things, Bob has been busy with work with not so smart decisions involving gods, and then that. So,
Yeah.
and he's a dad too, with another child he might be adopting soon. So, depending how things go. So,
Chifley just sort of nods very understandingly. I don't think you were even home the few times that I visited without Missy. So
No.
I can believe that.
yeah, no, I'm sorry. I would have liked to talk to you then, catch up sooner.
I don't think we were in the correct mindset for that, if I'm completely honest.
Should Bob roll insight?
Oh, you're more than welcome to. If I recall correctly, that's something Bob's good at.
It is something good. Listen, all the mind, brainy stuff, and perception stuff. That's what I. 16.
The 16's not bad. You can't really get a read on exactly what kind of state of mind it would have been, but he is definitely thinking about the two times he has been over at the Chaos Fam's apartment without Missy. Very, very different times.
Oh. Well, Bob's not sure what that's. I think I have an idea of what that's about, but Bob has no idea what that's about. But he can only think that, oh yes, it's. I mean, his family's called the Chaos Fam for a reason. He can only imagine. I think Bob at that will give a semi-understanding nod to Chifley before looking back at the kids, specifically at Missy. And his face looks a bit more openly concerned. How has she been?
She's doing really well since starting school. She is thriving now that she has a friend in Rad. It's really quite the relief, actually.
I heard she made a friend in Sandy as well, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes. Yes, she did.
Well, I think it's good. I think it's good that they've made up or made friends.
Oh, I don't disagree. I just wish they had met doing something else.
Yeah, I only caught parts of that conversation, to be perfectly honest. So I don't entirely know what happened.
Well, Sandy, has been taking pointers from Gil.
Bob immediately groans and just puts a head in his hands like, what did she do?
In innocent terms, she picked Missy up from school and didn't tell me. In slightly more nefarious terms, she kidnapped Missy from school. And does not have Gil's finesse to leave a note. So, yeah, I got to panic. That was fun.
Bob just reaches over and gives Chifley's arm just like a reassuring pat and just like a more than understanding nod because, yeah, Yeah, Gail's been quite the influence. And Sandy, I'm, yeah, I'm sorry. Did, I don't suppose you explained to her. I can talk to her later about that and make sure she doesn't, at the very least, leaves a note. Since
I hmm,
I wish I
I
could say
had been
there's.
having a day, so I don't know that I explained myself very well, to
All
be
right,
honest.
I'll be sure to I'll be sure to have a talk to her about it and make sure. I don't. It, it's difficult to stop Sandy when she has her mind to something, but I'll explain it to her so at the very least, if that happens again, she'll leave a note.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Of course. I think it's the least I could do after all that's happened.
Ah, well, the least you could have done was leave us in the snow. So, I'm glad that you didn't do that.
I, of course, we're not going to leave. After what happened, we wouldn't have left you in the snow. I mean, goodness.
Chifley just sort of gives a little bit of a shrug.
Bob isn't sure where to go with.
Chifley is looking very intently at Missy, just watching her play with Rad on the play equipment.
I'm. Uh, Bob looks to where he's watching and thinks for a bit. I'm gonna take a guess and say you don't. It's been a while since you've been helped by nice people.
We. Hmm. There were plenty of nice people at home, but when we left, we've been on our own since. And I am distinctly out of my depth, if I'll be blatantly honest.
How so? Well, how so? Is it taking care of Missy? Is it living out here on your own?
Both.
Hmm.
If I was here without her, it would be easier. If we were at home, just the two of us, it might have been easier because there would be people there we knew, but neither of those things are an option.
Well,
And it's just,
there are people
I'm,
here that you know.
that's true. That's very true. And he's got a little bit of a fond smile on his face now.
And I know I might be a bit. I know I may be a bit busy, but I'm I'm very good at making room in my schedule.
Hmm.
I seem to be the only one at work who's good at sticking to a schedule. He whispers to himself.
I don't know that I've asked what you do for work.
Oh, I'm the accountant at Dodo Studios.
Oh, that's near here, isn't it?
It's not that far. It's within walking distance. Short. My and sh- my boss's kid, Short's kid, often walks Rat to school for me.
Oh,
During work days.
how lovely. I'm fortunate that I've managed to find work as well, so that makes staying here easier.
Oh, where have you found?
I am a archival assistant at the ECCR.
Oh, that's the. Oh, oh goodness, I haven't been over. I should make a point to. Should make a point to go over there at some point. I've been curious, but also, well, and he actually looks over at Rad. Rad's Rad. Rad's been. How do I put it? He's been due, I think, for a proper doctor's appointment. Not that anything's wrong, but it's good to have checkups.
That's true. And we are all very fortunate for the kind of service that the ECCR provides. The archivists, they're all very lovely people, and it's a very nice environment. The
Oh, I've heard.
It's beautiful, actually. That building.
Perhaps I'll. Well, perhaps. Bob, actually, I'm not gonna roll hammer space. It's a 10. You see Bob pull out a little. It's a little colorful notebook. It's a little calendar book, actually. And he's flipping through the pages, and you can see many. Chifley, you can see many, many, many bookmarks. It actually looks quite stuffed with things.
Oh boy.
This is a busy Toon who likes to be busy.
Oh, that's fair. That's
Yeah.
fair enough. Chifley's just gonna sort of look at all the bookmarks and just sort of be like, "Whoa, that is busy."
Yup. Bob is a that's something Bob I don't think will ever get rid of, is that he enjoys work. He genuinely enjoys it. That's something as a nobody that I don't think he'll ever be rid of. But either way, he's now just looking through his calendar real quick just to see, like, it's Wednesday, it's next Wednesday. No, not next Wednesday. I have a thing that day next Saturday. No, maybe not next Saturday. He's kind of doing that for a bit, and he realizes that, oh wait, no, I can do that later. And he snaps it shut, puts it back.
Chifley just offers a small little chuckle. You could always come in to make an appointment. You don't have to think about it now.
It's it's a habit to try and think ahead. Anyways, yeah, it's a as a nobody, we're thinking ahead, scheduling. It's habit, or I guess natural.
I'm gonna actually get Chifley to roll a history, because I don't know that he knows what a nobody is. What's his history? 2.
22.
22.
That's a nat 20.
That is a nat 20. And he's just sort of got to nod and then stop and then look Bob up and down. Like, you're a very colorful nobody.
Oh, yeah, I could easily say nobodies are going through some changes. Certainly back home. But yes, I am very colorful.
Were you always this colorful?
Oh no, not at all. It used to be just this part of me that was. And he points to the little heart on his tie.
Chifley is now giving Bob a little bit of a look.
What kind of look?
A very suspicious, slight squint, I wonder kind of look.
Bob chuckles a bit, and I'm gonna roll hammer space again because that's a 3. Bob pulls out a little. He's going to pull out a little. I guess he's gonna pull out his wallet that has pictures in it. You know, and like when they open the wallet, and then the like mile long of pictures just unfolds. It might almost be a mile long because Bob actually has a lot. But there's a lot of pictures in there, and some of them, I like to think that Bob just manages to collect pictures, whoever took them. But he looks through them, goes, should be. Oh, here it is, and he holds up a picture of him and the OG Chaos fam. I want to say this is probably close to like the festival time. And he holds up and shows a picture of what OG original Bob used to look like, a scrawny, nervous little nobody.
Chifley's gonna sort of look at the picture and then look at Bob and then look at the picture and then look at Bob and then tap his chin slightly. Do nobodies get their colors tested?
Not that I know of. We're not. Well, it's a complicated. I'm not quite sure how to answer it. I want to say.
Let me ask it this way: have you ever had your colors tested?
Oh no, certainly not. I probably should do that though.
Chifley gives a very "yes, you should" sort of nod, and he sort of straightens up a little bit. It's like, you can get your colors tested at the same time as Rad, if that would make things easier for your schedule.
Oh, yeah, it could. What do you do What do you do, Chifley? Exactly at the.
Oh, I primarily assist the archivists. My direct supervisor is Dr. Paige Turner Book. She's a
Bob
very
is writing that.
experienced,
Bob is writing that
very
down.
experienced, very experienced. She has a specialty in tunes that, uh, well, among other things, that change color. But there are other archivists who deal with tunes who have had major redesigns, and he gives Bob a very pointed look, and other sorts of specialties as well. But I often help take samples and deal with customers and
Huh.
make appointments. Also, I do odd jobs as well.
Okay. Well, it's good that you're kept busy. And Bob actually, while he's saying that, looks a bit like he's not. He's listening, but it's not his forefront of attention. Because as soon as you mentioned like major redesign, Bob is now looking at the picture, at the old picture of himself, and he's just kind of like, huh. Then he looks down at himself, like, huh. But I count as a major redesign?
Chifley sort of arches a brow and your body shape is slightly different and you have significantly more color. And, well, I hope I'm not out of line saying this, but you seem a lot happier. So, yes, I would say that is a major redesign.
Bob looks at.
I'm not an expert, but that's just my opinion.
Bob looks at the picture for a few more moments, but then he smiles. Yeah, I am a lot happier, but I'll definitely. And as he's folding up the photos again, you see a lot of them are of the primarily the Chaos fam, but there's also a lot of his friends from work and such that he's folding back up and then tucking back into his hammer space.
Before Bob gets too far with that, I'm just actually going to roll a quick perception for Chifley.
Okay.
What is it? 5. There. That's
20.
a 24.
Nice.
He's gonna reach a hand down and just sort of stop Bob putting it away on one of the photos of the Chaos fam from before, and he's just gonna sort of look at it. And he knows all 4 of the tunes in that photo, but there's one in particular that he's looking at.
Bob looks at Bob blinks, looks at Chifley, looks at the picture he's looking at, and I guess he looks at the person that he's looking at. Do I even need to guess?
No, you don't.
The cogs are whirling in Bob's brain, and then he remembers a certain amount of thought process that he had in a different FPS. And there's a slight smile. It's soft, but But Bob looks at Chifley with a smile and goes, "So, have you been hanging around the other? Obviously, you've seen Sandy and Marcel. I don't know if you've talked to Ross at all, but have you talked with Gil at all?"
Do an insight. 17. That's more than enough. There is a sort of, he jolts ever so slightly and a slight blush on his very pale cheeks. And he sort of straightens and looks away from the photos, and he's sort of tapping his fingers together a little bit.
Bob has the softest chuckle as he finally puts away his wallet, and again he reaches over and gives Chifley just like a gentle pat on the arm, like, "Oh no, it's it's perfect, it's perfectly fine. Sorry, I don't mean to pry or anything. I had a suspicion.
He's actually going to look a little bit surprised at that and look back down at Bob. You did.
Well, admittedly, it might have been a stretch. It's just something I've noticed with, um, I noticed it at first with Marcel and his partners, and oh no, Gil talked about Sammy, and I met Sammy, and Sammy talked about you.
That blush has gotten a little darker.
It's not it's not terribly difficult to connect the dots once you recognize a pattern with tunes. Not that that's a bad thing. Not that that's a bad thing, and I'm certainly um
He's just smiling, and he sort of rubs at his arm awkwardly. It's, well, very very new, very unfamiliar, but not unpleasant.
I can understand that. Admittedly I'm actually quite new to it myself. But as long as you're happy.
I need to work something out with him. We keep meeting up in the worst of ways.
Do you ever think of making a plan to not to? I know how Gil is. I know he can be quite the spontaneous kind of tune. To put it lightly.
That's very correct. I've been racking my brains for something appropriate, but nothing's come to mind yet. I'll think of something.
I'll admit.
If we discount when we all technically first met, do you know the first time he showed himself to me? How he did that after that?
Bob has to think a bit. No, I don't think so.
He tackled me to the ground and kidnapped me for the afternoon.
We see Bob actually for the first time, like, completely just...
Oh no!
He did what?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Oh no! Oh no! Oh, I shouldn't laugh. I'm sorry. I had the exact same thing happen to me with Ross. Oh.
Oh well.
How did it? I'm sorry. How did it? Hopefully, it didn't go badly. Obviously, kidnapping is not great.
Well, it probably went a lot better had it been anyone with sinister intentions. He was remarkably considerate.
Yep, that's as much of a hooligan as he can be. He is a good tune. I mean, he doesn't like to say he's a good tune, and Bob makes the quotation marks. But he is good. But he is good.
I have noticed that. He's quite married to his labels for himself.
I don't know. If you met him when I first met him, he's definitely made a lot of changes himself.
Well, looking at that photograph that you've got, I can see. And at Animus, he was in disguise, I believe.
Yes, he was.
I didn't recognize him when he kidnapped me.
Oh. Oh, and Bob. Oh, suddenly it hits Bob, and he feels even worse for laughing.
Chifley's just sort of chuckling a little bit, though. He laughed at me too.
Oh no, Oh, Chifley, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have laughed like that.
He shakes his head. That's fine. It is funny, looking back. And I got him back anyway.
Oh?
It's not my proudest moment, and I don't think it really counts, given as I left him in his room, but I tried doing the same to him.
You tried kidnapping him?
In a way. I tied him up. And I love this. This is just uncontrollable laughter from Bob.
Because Bob's just picturing Gil getting his just desserts from Chifley.
Chifley's just kind of not quite giggling, but like looking like he very easily could. Like he didn't think that it was that funny, but
Oh, Bob thinks it's hilarious. Bob does not feel bad for Gil in the slightest. Oh, god damn it, there. Oh man, then there's police out my door again. Gosh darn it.
oh dear.
But yeah, Bob's having a laugh just imagining that.
You're welcome to roll insight, actually.
I'm gonna roll insight. 18.
18. Okay. Chifley is glad that you find it funny. There is sort of something in his the way that he's sort of holding himself that he's not proud of it. He's distinctly not proud of it.
Yeah, you can hear the police sirens coming for you. You can hear them coming for you, Chifley. They know what you've done. Coming for Chifley now.
Oh, apparently, yeah. Dang.
God, I cannot wait to move. I won't have to deal with this anymore. Ah! Folks at home, I'm sorry you have to hear all this blaring noise from my end. If I had control, I would get rid of it, but I can't.
Oh boy. Oh dear. But yeah, no. Chifley's glad that Bob's finding it funny, but there's the distinct kind of impression that he's not proud of that day.
Yeah, but Bob waves a hand at Chifley, just like I would not. I would not feel. I would not feel bad about. Jesus. I wouldn't feel bad about. about doing that to Gil. Knowing him, he's well. Never mind if he deserved it. Clearly he did. We both know he does. But chances are he probably found it funny.
Well, he didn't seem as bothered as my initial intentions had been, so possibly. I actually haven't asked him about it afterwards.
Well, maybe you should.
I should. And he's just looking sort of thoughtful.
Has he... Oh, let me think. Have you heard... I can imagine the other... either Sandy or Marcel might have mentioned it, but... Do you know how we all first met?
No, I haven't heard that story.
We were framed for robbery, and then we followed Gil run out a window from the police.
Huh.
It was quite a merry chase. Looking back, it was quite the merry chase.
Chifley's just sort of going to think about it for a second and go, I don't know why I could have expected any different. How in character.
Oh, incredibly. God. Jeez. What?
Something's on fire.
Yeah, something is incredibly broken. Someone did something. Jeez. Heber jeebers. I'm gonna let that pass for a second before I continue on. Bob and Chifley just have to be quiet for a second as just like very toonish police cars and fire. And fire trucks are just zooming past them.
Yeah. Something happened at the studio or something like that.
There is a pillar of smoke off in the distance, and it's definitely coming from Toto Studios. And Bob out loud is just like, you know what? For once, that's not me. You know, me and Gil set fire to the studio roof once.
Why?
Well, for some reason, Gil had lit dynamite in his hammer space. I was trying to just get rid of some papers. I thought he'd want to help. It's Gil being Gil.
Would we want him any other way, though?
Oh, not at all. If he decides to change, it has to be up to him. But he's good as is.
I'm inclined to agree.
Bob gives Chifley just a knowing smile.
He's not really not paying attention. He's just got this sort of thoughtful, fond sort of expression on his face.
Bob's smile softens at that. Just, this is good. That's good. I'm trying to think. Oh, Sammy! Goodness, we're talking about Gil. What about Sammy?
Sammy is... Well, I think Sammy's doing well. I did mean to thank you for looking after Missy while I was helping Sammy the other week. It made things so much easier.
Oh, of course. Missy's been a delight. I mean,
She's been well behaved. That's good.
Well,
but good.
Well behaved as well behaved as children can get in our household.
She is called Missy for a reason.
Missy and shit. Oh, I just got it. Goodness, mainland tunes always have some kind of pun with their names.
Our parents chose it. Her birthday is the day before mine. They thought it was appropriate.
Oh, the mischief siblings. That's. I don't want to sound rude in saying that sounds quite appropriate.
Well, we have definitely gotten into our share of mischief, that's for sure. But as long as she can have a relatively normal childhood, I suppose that's the important thing.
I want to say that can happen, but from my experience, this is a land of tunes, and chaos and unexpectedness happens quite a lot.
That it does. That's been our year.
Another gentle pat on the arm. I would say, take it from someone who's sort of learning to adjust to all, who's been adjusting to all this. It's okay if something goes wrong or unexpected. The best you can do is just, I believe the saying is roll with the punches.
How appropriate. Do you know what Sandy did when she kidnapped Missy?
Don't tell me she punched.
She took her to a weapons store and they stole a pair of boxing gloves.
Oh, Sandy.
I made Missy go back and pay for them.
Well, it's good that you did that. Why?
Missy is not a very good storyteller when she's excited, but she said that Sandy was going to help her get stronger with the boxing gloves.
And Bob's gonna look over at the kids again. No, I can understand that. I've been reading up on childcare, and there's a few conflicting things. Children here seem to be ready to fight at a much younger age here.
Missy is not a fighter, is the thing. She never needed to be. She's got it into her head that she needs to protect me. And I can see where that came from. But
After what you two went through, I'm not too surprised. Rad has a bit of the. It's been a bit of a challenge with Rad as well. Though in Rad's case, I originally built him to. Well, it was more of an accident, but when I built him, I ended up outfitting him so he could fight. Because and Bob wobbles his paper arms.
mm,
Uh, I myself am not so physically inclined. But then coming here, that that whole tune logic of you believe or love something enough it becomes real. Well, Rad ended up becoming a kid, and I couldn't have him fighting for me. So it's been it's been it's taken a while, but I think he's gotten better at just being a kid.
oh, that's encouraging. Missy came home after her very first day, delighted to tell me that her new best friend beat me up with a bat.
What?
I don't remember it. But I am under the impression that Rad helped hit me in the head and get me out of that.
Bob has to think for a second and go, oh, okay, you meant, okay, I was. Oh,
There's
yeah, we did.
no hard feelings, if that's a concern.
Still, I still feel like I could have used dispel magic sooner to get you out of that trance. Those two.
He shrugs.
Hmm. Bob looks
Red
to be
has
thinking.
been fantastic for Missy. She hardly stops talking about him.
Bob stops his train of thought and is smiling. It's proud and it's definitely a proud papa's smile. Brad, I think talks about Missy a good bit as well, and I know he's definitely enjoyed having another friend to play with.
They're very good for each other, I think.
I think so. I think so as well. And Bob's thinking back to the babysitting shenanigans. Let's just say Rad has gotten influences from other kids that it's okay to try and steal the cookie jar in the middle of the night. I'm worried he's gonna try and teach that to Missy, if he hasn't already.
She has no qualms with getting up to shenanigans with or without his influence, so I wouldn't worry.
It's fun. It's quite an adventure, raising kids.
It's not something I ever saw myself doing, least of all for my sister, but here we are.
I do have some child raising books if you need them. They helped me a lot.
Roll another insight.
Okay. 14.
14. The expression on Chifley's face is a little odd. It's like he appreciates the offer, but he doesn't want to take it, or the feeling that Bob gets.
And Bob's expression turns a little confusing in response. Oh, I thought. I mean, it's all right if you don't. I mean, I came from a place where children did not. I come from no man's land. Children do not exist. So finding out about children was quite the experience for me. I don't know. Books help me a lot. It's all right if you don't need. Bob's just gonna be quiet.
It's not that. It's not that. It's. I love Missy, but this shouldn't be me doing this.
Who should it be?
Our parents should be looking after her.
Are they? I'm trying to remember if Bob. Sorry, out of character moment. I'm trying to remember if back in Animus, if Bob ever asked about them, and I'm blanking.
I don't think so, no.
Okay, back in character then. Whoop. Are your parents able to look after her?
That's the thing. Our mother has passed away. And our father is missing. That is part of why we are here. We were looking for him.
Have you found him? Or any trace of him?
No.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Missy still believes we will find him, but I do not hold on to such hope.
Was he a good father?
I think so. He was kind and thoughtful and funny.
So what
Always encouraging, but
So what makes you think you won't be able to find him?
we should have found something by now. Bob, have you heard of the score before?
Has Bob heard of the,
You can roll a history.
I'll roll history, because Bob's done plenty of reading, so it's a good chance he would have heard something. It's +6 to history, so 7, not 1! Bob!
Aw.
The one thing you missed in the books! The one chapter he fell asleep on.
Don't. Yeah.
No, I don't think I have.
The score is a small town at the northern part of the Pixar Protectorate, and we walked from there to here.
You walked?
We walked.
Bob looks at your shoes.
They are very well loved leather boots. We didn't have a lot of money to spend on transport, and besides, we needed to be on the ground. Our father, he is a member of an orchestra who are on tour. We stopped hearing from him around about the time our mother got sick.
The tour, you mentioned that before. You mentioned the tour back in Animus.
Yeah, we followed their tour schedule. Every town they were supposed to stop at, we went there. We checked, and Toontown was the last place on the line. They were supposed to catch a train back home after that. And a lot of the places we visited, they had never heard of them, never seen the orchestra.
Did you leave a note back home in case they did go back there and find it?
Well, I had no idea where we would be if they came home, but I packed up that house, and if they did go back, he would find it all closed up tight. And the people in town know what we were doing, so they would be able to tell him.
All right. Bob is thinking. But mostly, the entire time Bob has been listening, he's been staring down at your shoes. And he looks over at Missy and Rad. Then he raises his hand. He raises his hand to his mouth and goes, Rad, I'm here." And Rad immediately looks over and goes, "Dad!" And comes running over to give Bob a big hug, which Bob returns. And they go through the rigmarole of Bob asking Rad how his day was, and Rad going a mile a minute about his day.
While that's happening, Chifley is going to get a Chifley from Missy, because she's noticed Chifley there when Rad ran over, and she's going to sprint over and basically just attach herself to Chifley's leg, because she's not very tall either. And she's actually going to give Chifley a little bit of a shake. Chifley! That's Dad. Did you ask him? Not yet. Not yet.
Ask me? I was about to ask you something, but you first.
Oh. Missy has been begging me to arrange a play date with Rad and Sandy, and I was going to ask if you were interested in your whole family coming to the park with us on the weekend.
You see Bob light up. Oh, I think that would be delightful. Oh, Rad, what do you think about? Do you want to do it?
Yeah. Me and Missy was telling me about. Can we go and play? I want to play more.
Oh, of course, that would be. Yes, yes. I think a play date is more than all right.
Missy is. I'm not going to do it because that will hurt people's ears. But Missy is squealing delightedly, and she lets go of Chifley and jumps on Rad, and it's just sort of hanging off him, going, "We're gonna have a play date!"
Rad is also yelling play date while holding on to Missy and just swinging her around like yay. And Bob watches this with a laugh.
Yeah, Chifley's doing the same. He's like, "Oh god, they're just too cute."
They are adorable. And Bob watches this for a bit before putting his hands together and looking at Chifley. But first things first. What? You said you're not far. You said you're not far from our apartment, right?
That's right.
Is it on the way?
He sort of thinks about it. Yeah. I think it is, yeah.
I don't suppose you'd mind walking together with us.
Chifley brightens at that.
And Bob's...
What do you think, Missy? Would you like to walk home with Bob and Rad? Yeah! Walk home together! And she's just grinning her head off.
And Rad, who's still right there, like, yeah, let's go. And since he's holding Missy, he's gonna start running ahead with Missy. Rad, remember to keep within sight.
I will.
And I guess they start following the kids.
Oh dear. Chifley's just sort of trotting along beside Bob, just sort of shaking his head. Where do they get their energy from?
Oh, I can only... Rad used to get his from AA batteries, but now I don't know where he gets the energy. I can imagine them talking a bit more as they're walking down the street, but Bob makes a stop. I'd say maybe about halfway from Chifley and Missy's apartment.
Mm-hmm.
And Bob goes, here, yep, I thought this would be on the way. Rad, could you come back with Missy, please?
Oh, okay.
And Rad comes running back with Missy. Question, what state is Missy's shoes in?
Well, she's got very similar, well-loved leather boots. But they distinctly look like they're hand-me-downs. it is entirely likely that they were Chifley's when he was that size.
Okie dokie. Bob looks at it and gives a knowing nod. He is not surprised at all. And he's like, "All right then. If you don't, and he directs their attention to the clothing store, that Bob has stopped in front of.
Chifley is giving Bob a blank, confused expression. What?
You walked all the way from the Pixar Protectorate to Toontown.
Yes.
You are due for new shoes. Come on. And Bob is going to start ushering everyone into the store. Dad mode is activated.
Chifley is too stunned to properly protest. He's just like, wait.
And before he can think to protest, Bob's gonna turn to Missy and go, say Missy, what kind of shoes have you always wanted?
Oh, I mean, there was these cute little, almost like dance shoes, but not really. I don't know. There were black ones, and the girl I saw wearing them had pink socks, but I like green better. So maybe with green.
Well, tell you what. How about you go look through the kids section of shoes and pick something out and pick out what you like.
She's just gonna give Bob this really round-eyed expression, and then phew, off she goes.
And Rad's who's like kind of doing the little dance in place thing, like, oh, now me, what do I get to do? And Bob just looks at Rad like, yes, all right, go on, you can pick something out too. And Rad's gonna go Noom! After Missy.
Chifley's just sort of standing there going, what?
And Bob's just gonna gently take Chifley by the arm and lead him towards the adult shoes section. All right, now it's your turn.
I'm not sure I understand.
Shoes.
What? My shoes are fine.
They are incredibly well worn, and I won't be surprised if they'll end up going out in a couple weeks. So here's what we're going to do. You are going to try on some shoes and tell me which ones you like, and then I am going to buy them.
I couldn't ask you to do that.
Well, you didn't have to ask me. I'm just going to do it.
He is speechless. Absolutely speechless.
Bob just smiles, and he goes over to the shoe rack, looks at a couple pairs, and I guess he picks out a pair of boots that look somewhat similar to what Chifley has on now. Do you still want to wear boots, or do you want maybe shorter flats? I think they're called flats. I usually just wear business. He points at his own shoes that kind of just meld with his pants, because that's just the style that he is. I just sort of wear business shoes. So.
Chifley is so like he just sort of looks at it his boots come just above his knees, and they actually have a strip of blue fabric around just underneath his knees to help hold them up, because he's very thin. And actually, you might want to do a perception.
Let's do perception. Listen, the moment you said the state of his shoes, I was just like, oh, I know. Bob has a plan formulating. It's 11.
Oh,
Bob is
11. That'll do. They don't look like they are hand-me-downs like Missy's boots, but he is obviously he's too skinny for these really tall boots. Like, they don't have lacing or anything. They're just a pull-on leather boot that it almost looks like it was made for somebody taller than Chifley, and he's sort of just tied them on to keep them from falling down.
Bob looks like he's contemplating something. I actually don't know a whole lot about shoes. There should be someone here. Oh, excuse me, do you work here? Yes, sir. How may I help you? We're looking for shoes for this young man here. And this sorry, I'm just imagining this very snooty kind of tailor person, just like with a very big nose, just looking down.
Squidward.
It's Squidward. It's a Squidward knockoff, just staring down at Chifley. He's got one of those like tape rulers like thrown over his shoulder as he looks down at Chifley like, yes, I think we can find something for him. One moment, sir. And the guy's gonna go around back and find more shoes for Chifley to try on.
Amazing. Oh, dear.
Has Chifley recovered yet?
He's still kind of stunned. He's just like, okay, we went from walking home from school to, my my sister's best friend's dad is buying us shoes. How did we get here?
Easily, you had a conversation with a dad.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Goodness.
Yeah, so from here, I just imagine, like, just... actually, you know what? Bob sees Chifley's, I guess, stupor. And just, it goes, are you alright?
I'm fine. I really wasn't expecting this today.
Well, yeah, sorry for the surprise. Maybe I would have made it more of a surprise. It's just in case if I didn't know you. I don't know a lot about shoes or foot sizes, so I thought it'd be better for you to come in and pick out something you like.
Thank you. If you're going to insist, then I won't stop you from getting Missy some, but it's fine for me. These boots have served me very well, and
I'm not saying you get rid of the shoes that you have now. They're obviously still very good shoes, but it's always good to have an extra pair. Better. Oh, what's the saying? I've been trying to learn a lot of sayings, but either way, it'll be good for you to have an extra pair just in case.
Chifley's gonna have a bit of a think about that. And then he's gonna blink as if he sort of had an idea and starts looking over the shelves a little bit. And he does actually pick a pair of shoes off the shelf. But they're not boots.
Oh?
They're a more formal shoe. A black formal shoe with a white spats on them. And he's sort of looking them over, and yeah, he's got this very, very intense contemplative expression on his face.
Bob, who is there to be helpful, looks over, and his eyes kind of glow a little bit because, oh, those are very nice shoes. But he looks up at Chifley. Do you want to get those?
I don't have any nice shoes. So if I could pay half?
No.
They're not
No.
cheap.
No. Chifley, let me put it for you this way. I am the only accountant at Dodo Studios. So do imagine what the only accountant at a oh goodness, how much money does that studio I actually don't know. I want to say a studio as big as Dodo Studios is at this point, especially with StarCuz coming out, is probably like a multi-million like earning studio, and Bob is the only accountant. So like for both halves. So like it's not so like just let that settle for a second about how much Bob probably makes from his job. Bob, like, there's in-game money to use for D&D stuff, but then there's, the story money that Bob has plenty of. Bob has enough. More than enough to cover probably enough pairs of shoes for both Chifley and Missy, so Bob is not worried.
And Chifley sort of he blushes a little bit and he looks sort of down at the shoes again, and it would be nice to be able to dress up when we go out. So if these are all right.
Do you have a suit to go with those?
I've brought some of my father's clothes with us, and I was just wearing those.
Do they fit you?
The waistcoat's a little big, but more or less.
Well, it's a good thing we're in a clothing store then. As long as you don't mind us taking a little time.
No, we've not got anything on this evening. Thank you.
Of course. And then, just at that moment, you hear, I have some boots for the young sir to try. And the guy is just suddenly behind you, Chifley, with he's holding a this guy looks like he should be working as a waiter at a restaurant, because he's holding a platter with several different kinds of boots displayed on it in front of Chifley.
Oh boy, let's just do a quick whiz save.
24.
24. That's fine. Chifley does not suddenly jump 2 feet in the air and be like, holy crap, there's somebody behind me.
I'm also gonna make a whiz save. 20. Bob also manages to not jump when the guy suddenly shows up yes, you are suddenly there.
Chifley's just gonna look over the boots very quickly and be like, thank you. I will try them on in my own time. It's like, please go away.
and the dude just goes, as you wish, and he puts the platter of shoes on the little couch for people to sit and try shoes on, and then he will leave them be until called for further assistance. And I will say, when they go in the suit section to look for more clothes, which Bob's already gonna say, even in the clothes, if Missy wants a cute little outfit.
Well, that's perfect, because I just sort of pictured Missy and Rad coming running back over to where Bob and Chifley were, and Missy's found a new little pair of shoes, but she was also looking at all the clothes with Rad, and she's got probably 8 or so different items with the hangers on them and everything in her arms, going, Chifley, they're all so pretty! Can I have these? Chifley's just sort of puts his face in his hands. You may have one outfit.
Aw.
How about 2? Can allow for 2.
All right, 2. And Missy's just gonna squeal again and then kind of turn to Rad and go, help me pick!
Oh, okay. This one.
And Rad holds up the bright, a bright sunshiny yellow.
Ooh, that's pretty. The other one more. This one.
And she's going to grab a skirt that's got the little overall straps on them, and she's going to hold it up and go,
Look, it's like Sandy wears.
It's so pretty. Yeah. You can twin. You and Sandy could be twins.
You should get one too.
Brad looks at Bob, and Bob just nods, and Bob goes, yay! And Brad's gonna run off to go grab the overall skirt.
Matchy matchy.
amazing.
It's another montage of just them looking through. But yeah, Bob is going to spoil them. Dad
Chifley's going to be slightly awkward about it the entire time, but he's kind of gotten the impression that saying no is not an option.
Nope. Bob's going. Nope. Listen. You haven't had a chance to be spoiled. You haven't had a chance to be spoiled as a kid in a while. So Bob's gonna put on dad mode and spoil the kids. Might regret it later, but for now, this is good.
This is good. This is very good. I don't think there's anything else that I want to cover today. What about you?
No, I think that's I think just the montage of them just continuing shopping is a good place for
Yeah.
like the camera to pan out.
Lovely. And lined up with a play date on the weekend.
Yay! A play date. Oh, I can't wait. That's gonna be so good. Oh god, the mayhem that Sandy, Rad, and Missy combined.
Critical mass of mayhem.
God. They're gonna need like a full like squad of adults to watch them to just be like, no, don't break that. God, that's gonna be fun. That's gonna be fun.
That is gonna be very fun.
But no, yeah, that's all I can think of for this game.
That was fantastic. Thank you,
was-
Fable. That was good.
That was a lot of fun. Thank you, Wiz. That was.
Boy, oh boy.
I'm glad we could end that with just some good times.
Yeah, very good times.
Yep. I guess with that, thank you everyone for listening, and we hope to see you next time.
Yeah, we'll see you soon. Bye.
Bye.